welcome to Chopsticks Alley Live. We are on Facebook, live feed for the first time. My name is Trami, and I'm the founder of Chopsticks Alley, and today we have our beautiful co-host, Jen Chung.
Thank you, Trami. We're very excited. This is Chopsticks Alley's first live feed here. Recently, I was appointed lifestyle editor, and so we're really excited to take this on the road and really transform it.
Well, we're doing something very different today, and we would love to get your feedback. So like it, because there are prizes to win if you like it, but Jen will go over that a little bit later. But I want to share a little bit of what Chopsticks Alley is all about. So we started out as a food group. We just love Asian foods, and we are now over 2,800 members strong. And from there has been a few talks of, we should do a little bit more than just featuring food. So we started Chopsticks Alley publications. So we are essentially an online publication, multimedia. So this is one of the things that we're doing is video and talk show. And it's important for us to lend a voice to the Vietnamese, younger Vietnamese American generation.
Yeah, definitely. For me, one of the big reasons why I really wanted to take part in Chopsticks Alley was because there's no platform for right now where Vietnamese Americans like my age can really voice our opinions and share our experience and share our passions with one another. And so, I'm really excited. There's articles already posted on Chopsticks Alley. If you haven't been on there already, that's chopsticksalley.com. We have a couple articles already on there, and we have a few likes already, and it's really exciting for me.
Yes, it is. And doing this today, if you are not on my personal page, Jen's personal page, Ash's personal page, you can definitely join us on Chopsticks Alley page, so Facebook page, and you can see the live feed.
And we're doing a special giveaway. Our sponsor is KT Sunstop. They are a sun visor company, and they've given us 3 different sets to give out today. You can hold this.
This is so much fun, and it really goes well for us Asians because we're so afraid of the sun.
If you've ever been on the road and you've seen those ladies, they have the gloves on and they have the mitts on and everything. Well, this is the solution to that problem. So KT Sunstop, their headquarters in San Jose, it's on 1980 Center Road. You can also buy this on Amazon. You can buy it online at ktsunstop.com, and they're $15 a set, and it comes in 2 different colors. So it comes in a navy blue or a gray, and there's a small and large size. And basically how it works is a sun visor design that you can easily attach to your rubber slot in your car on your window, like shown in the picture. And then it's easily repositionable, so you just take it in and out. And it's supposed to prevent the sun from the sun rays coming into your face, so it protects the left side of your face while you're driving. It's safe to use. So far, Trami, have you tried it out yet?
Yes, I think it's great. I love it, and it's perfectly legal, right?
Yes. So I've checked with the DMV as long as it's not covering your blind spot. So again, it comes in a set like this. We're gonna have so in order to be entered into the giveaway, you need to like any one of our feeds for the live feeds, and then at the end of the show, we'll announce our 3 winners, and these will be shipped free to the lucky winners today.
I love it. So basically, you just have to like it, so that way we have your information. Once we have your information, at the end of the show, we will do a random drawing, and then we will contact you to see how we can deliver these to you. We can either mail it or hand deliver them to you, right?
Yeah. So good luck.
Thank you.
Go ahead and like our videos.
All right, so let's introduce our wonderful guest who actually he started this whole thing for us. We would like to introduce Ashkar, but before he comes on, I know he's anxious in the green room. He's the one who said, you know what, I would love to have a platform where I can speak to the Asian American community about what I do. And he, as you know, he's running for state assembly. He's currently San Jose council member.
Yeah.
So we offered him, as well as anyone else who is a community leader, if they would like to have a platform to share what they do, then we are open to them, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's welcome Ashkar.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. And it was so funny because we were coordinating colors, and you were so good with your pastel color, very important.
Yeah, the green room is my kitchen, which is pretty cool.
Yes, yes, we forgot to say that we, Ash welcomed us into his home so we can have an intimate talk with you and you sharing about what you do for the community.
Yeah, and I'm here with my father as well, off screen, off camera, Satya Kalra. He's more famous than I am, so I have to mention that.
Yes, and you know, our behind the scenes staff, they actually thought he was Vietnamese, so they said "Chào bác" or "Hello" in Vietnamese to Asha's father. Anyway, so let's get started. What we wanted to do is, instead of just, you know, getting a little bit into it, we actually want to ask you the harder question, right? So we would like to know, why should Asian American voters vote for you for state assembly?
Getting straight to it, huh?
Yes.
Well, you know, look, ultimately, I'm here to represent everyone. So there's a lot of things I've done that I think appeal to everyone, whether it's housing affordability, education, transportation, the environment. Those are areas I've led on. In addition to, and I think those are all issues we all care about, including and especially Asian Americans. But in addition to that, I've definitely really spent my whole career of 20 years doing what I could to uplift the community. And I've worked hard in doing that with the Asian American community. I used to serve on the Asian Law Alliance Board of Directors. I've worked really hard in terms of empowering Asian Americans, both when I was a public defender and used to represent a lot of folks in the Asian American community. The cultural sensitivity, I would have clients that were Vietnamese or other Asian American backgrounds that I understood why they couldn't go to their parents to get help and to tell them what was going on because of the backlash they'd get from the community. And so I would try to instill that and let the judges know about that, or about particular drug treatment programs, to make sure there's cultural sensitivity in terms of making sure that they could get the help they need, because the justice system wasn't designed to necessarily help them and cater to them. And as a council member, I've tried to keep that same sensibility, making sure that all of us have a city that works for everyone, and that includes the Asian American community, because you know our city has over 1 million people, over 1/3 are Asian American. My family's Asian American, we're Indian American. And so just ensuring that as someone that works extremely hard and someone that listens and then makes laws and policies that protect our community, coming from the angle of, and in my experience as Asian American, being able to make sure that not just the Asian American youth are uplifted, but those that are working class, those that are running small businesses, our seniors will oftentimes find challenges. I've worked very hard with our senior centers to have meals that cater to Asian Americans, to have activities that cater to Asian Americans, because otherwise we're leaving out a whole part of our population. And we all pay into the system, we're all taxpayers, we all contribute, we don't necessarily all get the same services back, and that's something that's been really important to me.
So specifically then, the Vietnamese community, what policies or what have you done specifically, concrete things that you've done for the Vietnamese community?
You know, the Vietnamese community is such an important community here in San Jose, and so there's no doubt that I have tried to pay special attention to some of the needs of the Vietnamese community. And so one example is, last year I led the council in starting an Office of Immigrant Affairs. One of the reasons why I did that is that I noticed that some of the services weren't being provided to everyone equally. There are over 2/3 of small businesses are immigrant owned, and many of them are Vietnamese owned. And yet they were either not getting the services in terms of small business services, or they weren't getting their permits done on time, or they were violating rules they weren't aware of. And so through a budget request last year, we were able to get a small business ambassador specific to the Vietnamese community.
Really? So like a Vietnamese-speaking ambassador?
Yeah, Vietnamese-speaking. She used to be the executive director of the Vietnamese American Business Association, so she understands business and the Vietnamese community. She now works for the city of San Jose, and that was something that I led in terms of getting the budget in order to get that position for the Vietnamese community. In addition, there are a wide range of services that I believe have not been available to the Vietnamese community. One area, we have so many great small businesses, and we have government contracts that we don't necessarily have open to everyone, or at least everyone is not aware of it. So when I was on VTA, we started the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program, and we've now extended that into the city of San Jose. And that's to allow minority-owned businesses to have better opportunity to get government contracts. They still have to compete.
Yeah.
But what we found was, in particular, Vietnamese-owned businesses weren't aware that these contracts even existed, even if they were plumbers or contractors doing work that the city is asking for contracting opportunities.
So can you share with us, how winning state assembly can affect us locally here in San Jose, or how can it help us?
Well, absolutely. At the state level, we deal with education, we deal with transportation, we deal with housing and housing affordability. These are issues that are critically important to Silicon Valley. They're critically important to San Jose and to working families throughout our city. as an assembly member, I'll be able to really represent, as I have at the city level, I'll be able to implement and bring resources for our families, for the Vietnamese community and beyond, to make sure that we have access to the same things that LA gets, San Francisco. They get so much money in these other communities.
Yeah.
I don't think we get enough. And we have to, in order to spur our innovation economy, we have to make sure that everyone is participating in it, no matter what their profession is, no matter how they're accessing it. And most critically, we have to make sure our education system is uplifting all of our children. So that's K through 12, pre-K, but also so that at the UC and state level, that there are spots for our students, and we're not giving it away to out-of-state students, because our students work really hard to try to get into those schools, and that's something that I want to work very hard for San Jose residents.
That's important, because I think with us, like the younger, well, okay, not me, but Jen, the younger generation, do you even think about voting? Is that part of something you think about?
Well, like now, well, for me, voting is important, but a lot of times, with my friends, it's something that kind of gets just brushed on the carpet, because we don't think it makes an impact. Like, we think that there's a power out there that controls it, that one vote can't do anything. And there's really no one out there motivating us to get on it and get voting, because our generation is pretty much the future. And so I think, it's really important that we state that now and really promote that.
Yeah. I think so. And not just the presidential election, because, does that really affect us locally? I think what we do locally, it matters more.
We're more aware of the presidential campaign, but what's happening locally, I think a lot of times in my generation, we kind of forget about it, or it's not brought up to our attention.
I agree, and I'm glad you bring that up, because that's one of the reasons we have so many young people that are part of our campaign. Across all ethnic backgrounds, a lot of Vietnamese students that are part of it. I want to empower them, not just because of my election, but really because it's their future, and it's the decisions we make really affect them the most, because they're going to have to live with those decisions the longest.
Are they able to register online easily?
Yeah, it's very easy to register online. You go to the DMV website, you go to the county website, and you can go to sccvote.org. That's the county website, and right there, as long as you have a driver's license or a California ID, you can register to vote, because they have your signature already on file, and so it's easy.
Great. So it is very easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at the form and it's so
the form
intimidating.
online's easier, because it's basic. You look at the form and it's in 3-4 different languages and all that, and so it makes it intimidating, because the print is so small. Online, you can really do it more simply.
Thank you so much, Ash, for educating us, for letting us know what you've done for the Vietnamese community and the Asian American community, and basically the San Jose community. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And your time and sharing us, your home with us.
My pleasure. All right, bye everybody.
So we'll try to see you next time.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'll be back
We'll
for
talk
sure.
about even harder topics.
Thanks for
We
doing
have
this.
to do some homework. Yeah.
Thanks, Chopsticks Alley.
Thanks, Ash. Scooting in. We're in frame. We're good.
So we also mentioned, in our feed a couple days ago, that we're also talking about the recent launch of Trammy's first novel, Vietnam Easy, and we also wanted to delve into more of the topic of mother-daughter relationships. For me, I'm very grateful for the kind of relationship I have with my mom now, but it's important to know that it hasn't always been like that. And I think that a lot of people can relate to that.
Well, before we do that, let's talk about the KT Sun Stop again, so that our new viewers who are just chiming in, that they remember to like the post, whether it be on Asha's page, Jen Chung's page, mine, or on Chopsticks Alley's page, so that way we can enter your name to win these amazing visors or such. So we'll have Jen explain it.
So it's an item that we don't think about every day, but since I started using it, I've noticed I use it all the time, whether I'm picking up my siblings, whether I'm driving on the freeway. But in the San Jose summer heat, it's really important to protect your skin. And basically what KT Sunstop does is you can easily put it into the rubber slot of your windows. It's for all types of cars. And it easily sticks on there, and it doesn't damage your car, and it doesn't damage this, so you can reuse it over and over. But it's basically a sun visor. It comes in 2 different colors, navy and gray, and it comes in 2 different sizes. So each set comes in a pair. They sell for $15, but today we're giving away 3 lucky winners. So all you have to do is just like our page, and then at the end we're going to do it through a random generator, and we're going to pick 3 winners, and it will be announced after the show.
And we can mail it to you or hand deliver them to you if you're local. Yeah, not a problem, right?
Not a problem.
And I love these because, especially for Asian skin, because we don't like to be exposed to the sun, because what happens is we get dark spots.
Yeah.
And also we want to avoid the whole, like, I'm not going to wear like a huge visor like what we've seen in gloves, okay? I refuse to do that. So this is a good way to still look fashionable.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
All right, so let's go back to the topic. We're talking about the mother-daughter relationship. And, you know, in my book, Vietnamese, which, by the way, I heard is featured in the Mercury News today, so I'm very excited. I can't wait to go get a copy. The hardship of the mother-daughter relationship, so not always the nice ones, right?
Yeah.
Because not all of us are lucky enough to have that nice mother-daughter relationship. So yours, growing up, how was it for you?
Well, growing up, you know, my parents were sponsored here as immigrants, and we lived in a very American community back in Minnesota. And during my childhood, you know, yes, my mother, she was a loving mother figure. I'm sure she cared a lot for her children. But there's just sort of this disconnect where she didn't really show me who she was as a person, and vice versa. She wasn't really able to understand who I was, you know, as a child growing up in America. And
there's a line that parents draw with their children in our households, right? In the Asian households.
Yeah, there are a number of phrase that I would always hear is, you're not old enough to understand this yet, or she's still a kid, don't tell her. And that was something that I heard a lot growing up, and it just kind of, you know, it never bridged that disconnect between us until I was older.
And older is what, like a year ago? Or
I'm 23 now, and honestly, our relationship, we've never been closer, but it only happened when I was around 19 or 20, and I think that had a lot to do with me maturing as a person and me being able to understand her as a mother and why she did the things that she did. What about you, Tranny? Like, I want to hear more about your childhood.
I think our childhood's similar in that my mom was mom, you know, and you don't talk back, you don't ask questions, and even when they say, why did you do that? And you're about to open your mouth to answer, and if you do, how dare you talk back to me, right? Like, you can't even do that. So they ask, it's just a rhetorical question. It's your fault no matter what. So that's just the typical Vietnamese household. But what happens with that is then the child would start to build walls around them and feeling like, you know, I can't really talk to my mom. And that's what happened to me. And it wasn't because she's a bad mom. She's just being typical Asian moms. And then eventually you grow up and you know, there are things you tell your parents, and then there are things you don't want to because you're afraid you get yelled at or something.
Yeah. And then with parents too, I think just not just with, you know, Vietnamese American parents, but with Asian parents in general, I think they have this idea that they don't want to put the burden on their kids. And so now, you know, whether they're going through financial struggles or they're going through like relationship problems, they keep that to themselves, and then it affects them negatively too. And, you know, as a kid, I'm sure I couldn't understand the situations that my parents were going through, but I would have loved to have been involved and at least try to understand what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right with that. They're very protective of us. Like, we didn't even know how to use money because they said that money was, you know, like, not for kids.
Yeah.
So do you remember that? So even if you get money for birthdays or something, they'll say, let me keep it for you, and you know, when you need something, I'll buy it for you, right?
Yeah.
In some ways, I think it is kind of neat because we don't have to worry about that. We need something, we ask our parents. We don't have to budget and things. But on the other hand, it's not so good when you get to a point where you start to get these credit card offers in the mail, and suddenly you have a job. You don't really know how to manage your money well because you didn't get to learn how, like typical American households, they were given money and they have to know how to budget.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So like moving on to our next topic, another thing that, you know, with mother and daughter relationship is kind of our different perspectives on things. And so, you know, my mom, she had a certain way of doing things, and I had a certain way of doing things. And one of them was, you know, how do we take care of our skin? So growing up, I drank a lot of milk. And researchers say that drinking milk actually doesn't really do anything for you. In fact, it does the opposite. Because of all the hormones that they're putting in milk now. And then some researchers say that actually, yes, it does contribute its part to your, you know, being tall and being growth. You know, of course, genetics plays a huge role as well. But growing up, I drank like 2 glasses of milk a day.
Wow.
in my cereal, I had it with cheese, everything. I still love milk, but when I hit my preteens and I started breaking out like crazy, that's when, and I went to an esthetician, I realized that milk was actually what was causing the problem. And when I eliminated, any dairy products from my diet, it actually saved my skin a lot. But parents don't get that. In fact, they're like, why aren't you drinking milk? You need to be tall, so forth. So that was one of my problems.
That's an important message, because you know that in every Vietnamese and Asian households, we are making our kids drink milk, unless they're lactose intolerant or something. Otherwise, they have to, because that's the belief, and that's the commercial, the marketing of milk, how successful it is.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's calcium, right? So let's say, even though researchers show this or that, but let's assume that it does help with growth. You can get calcium in other ways, right? So you can get in supplements, of course, in foods, and nowadays almond milk, coconut milk, they have the fortified where they add the calcium. So it's just much better for your skin. I mean, essentially, it's just not so good for your skin.
Yeah, and so not having healthy skin led me to my next problem of going to sketchy
So we're discussing
spas.
all of Jen's problems today.
Well, I think about a lot of these problems that I go through, and like having to learn through it with my mom. It's something that everyone can relate to. Like when I talk to you about the sketchy spas that our parents would bring us to, I'm sure you're familiar with those as well.
Oh yes, sketchy spas, yes.
So imagine, me as a little teenager with like tons of pimples or whatnot. I know it's an awful image. But my mom, she was heartbroken by this, and she really wanted me to have a nice skin, to be confident in myself. And she would be lured by these like really expensive skincare products. And then the worst was the spas. And so I don't know if you guys have ever been under the pimple popper, but it is not fun.
And it's so bad for your skin. If they don't do it right, they can leave scars and pock marks.
Yeah, and these places are, they're either at the house or they're at these places where their procedures aren't exactly professional or state of the art. And so now, poor me, my mother doesn't know. She'll bring me to these Vietnamese spas or whatever it is. And I'll come home with the worst face.
Oh.
And so if you guys are going through this situation with your mom where you guys, she wants the best for you, but it's not the best for you, I think that's really important where compromise comes in.
Yeah, it's good to have the internet nowadays. We can do a lot of research.
Yeah. Just print it all out, translate it for you.
Yeah. What about dating for you? How was that?
Dating for me, my mother, I like to call her, Americanized. She's a lot more open-minded than other mothers maybe. But when it comes to dating, she's very, very traditional.
Yes.
Ideally, she wants him to be, a nice Vietnamese boy. She wants him to, to finish college or whatnot. And most importantly, if he goes on dates, he has to be like inside the house, like chào cô, chào chú. Be with my siblings before he even thinks about like going anywhere with me. She's just still very strict about it. Like nothing, like no long trips, no overnight stays. Like I need to know his parents, he needs to know mine. I mean, now, my mother, she's a lot more understanding, but I'm really glad that like I did go through that with her, because it did teach me in a sense how to respect myself and how to respect, my boyfriend and her as well.
Mm-hmm. I think to an extent, some of it is really good.
Yeah.
The flip side is if you only get to date one person your whole life, and then how I was taught is essentially whoever you're dating, you're going to marry, right?
Yeah.
So is that the right choice for you? We don't know. So I'm coming from a generation that's similar in that kind of upbringing, but maybe even worse. Like we couldn't even really date.
Yeah.
Right? And if we did, it was, oh my gosh, it was such a big deal. But I think it's a mistake. I'd like parents who rethink that. I think that they should encourage their children to date at the appropriate age. Of course, get to know who the boy is and all that.
Yeah.
But so that way the girl understands what her choices are and the things that she likes or doesn't like. Because if you only eat one dish, let's say pho, right?
For
you
the
only
rest
have
of your
one
life.
pho for the rest of your life. You don't know if this is a good pho or a bad pho. But if you try different pho, or the video we showed this morning from like the Food Network, it was horrible pho, then you know, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to respect yourself and pick the kind of guy or girl you would want to date, but also to have that exposure, because it builds, your knowledge base better.
Yeah, and I think with parents, a lot of times they become so strict that you're cutting off like your children from coming to you about relationship problems? Like in the beginning, my mother, because even talking on the phone with boys was very like, you know, no talking to boys on the phone. I didn't want to come to her when I had problems at all. You know, like as a kid, you do come across these problems, and I'm glad now she's been a lot more open with how her relationship is. I feel more comfortable myself sharing with her and getting her advice, and I don't feel like so shut in from it.
That's great. I'm so glad that we had a chance to do this today. I think we have to do it again next time.
Yes.
But before we take off, Vietnamese you can get online, Amazon.com, or the local Hickobee's bookstore, Barnes & Noble. And also make sure you like our video before we shut this down. I think we are like at 0 minutes left. Like our video so that way KT Sunstop will send you some free, what is it? We're doing drawings for free. Yes,
yeah,
sun visors.
Sun visors.
Thank you so much for joining
you.
Chopsticks Alley. It's the alley that never sleeps. We hope you enjoy. Give us some feedback, and we look forward to next time. Bye.